I'm Dustin Good. I'm a product specialist with Roland Canada, and we're here to show off some new gear for you guys.
So today we'll see at least 4 products. Basically, we'll talk about the new stuff that came out really like the 8th of the 8th.
The 8th of the 8th, the 808, August 8th.
So it will be
2017.
the TR-08 will be the first one we'll talk. Then we'll go on to the SH-01A. And then we'll go to the SE2 with Studio Electronics. And we'll finish with the DJ stuff. We have today, what's a DJ 808 and the DJ 202. Okay, let's move this one aside. I mean, great.
Right.
And let's bring in the SH-01.
Yes.
A.
SH-01A, yes.
I'm just going to try to...
Yeah, let's take a look. So it's laid out exactly like an SH-101, which it is a ACB, analog circuit behavior. So that's our digital technology that models the actual circuit, so it doesn't use samples. You know, so when you're changing any parameters, say the envelope, or you're changing the filter, it's actually the circuit's behaving like you were changing the little analog components in the original. It's not just opening a digital filter. It's actually, okay, this is, what was this knob actually doing? It's an analog potentiometer, you know, that was changing the circuit. So that's actually what's happening. So that lends to its actual authentic sound. So a quick little bit about the SH-101, which is the original. For one, I mean, the original 808 was about, you know, this big or so compared to this little one. The original SH1 was even bigger. It was SH101 was about this big, you know. So at least 3 times as big.
Yeah.
But the faders, the sliders here are almost the same spacing on it. To be honest, they have a little bit less throw, but it's pretty much the same spacing, and it feels a lot like the original did. So I'll bring up the volume a little bit here. So the SH-101 was a all-analog monophonic synthesizer that was available, I think, starting in 1982 to 86, so another about 4-year run. And it was huge. It's one of the most famous synthesizers of all time, one of the most easy to use of all time.
It was pretty light also.
Yeah, it was light, and you also had an option to put a mod grip on
it.
And play it like a guitar. So you could do kind of your modifications with your hand, and you put a guitar strap on, and a lot of people did that. Yeah, so it was light, and this is light as well. Yeah. Again, these all run off of like most of the boutique line runs off batteries, and it has a built-in speaker as well.
So any option of a guitar for this one?
Not at the moment, no. No.
Maybe
it'd be a little mini
just
guitar. Yeah.
An idea.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's laid out like the original. Quick little overview for those who aren't familiar. Again, it's a 1 oscillator synth, but you can actually mix the waveforms together here. So you have a little mixer. I'll leave the filter open for now. So I can bring up a square wave or a pulse wave, which has variable pulse width. So you've got that nice pulse width modulation. Goes really deep.
1 LFO.
1 LFO, except this actually has more shapes than the original. So we've got rising sawtooth, falling sawtooth, we've got a triangle, we've got a square wave, a random, a little bit of random there, and noise. So you can actually do some pretty cool effects with the noise LFO. So yeah, LFO. Go here, and this LFO, you can also put it into audio range.
Okay.
So for those who want to do really crazy FM effects, you can do that. That's one of the new features of this. But you've got the pulse width waveform, you've got your sawtooth, and just like the original, you've got a sub-oscillator, which can be, it's a square wave or a pulse wave. Square wave 1 octave down. Hear that? 2 octaves down. Or a pulse wave 2 octaves down. It's got that big sound.
Yeah.
It's got that natural kind of drifting pulse width sound. And you've got the original noise on here as well, which is great for, you know, for sound effects. It's great to add a bit of noise to a to your patch like that. And another new feature on this is a different kind of noise. So the original noise was real boomy. So kind of a dark noise with a lot of low end to it.
I like dark noise.
Dark noise, yes. And but what we can actually do, one of the extra features on this is the noise style. So I can say original or yeah, which is essentially more like white noise. Which will let you do more hi-hats and stuff like that. You know, those kind of sounds.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
And same envelope. Everything here acts the exact same.
You also have a mix-in.
Yeah, absolutely. So the mix-in is a feature on most of the boutiques as well. So what this is you're able to chain audio from one boutique to the next, right? So say you only had one speaker, you're playing through just a PA speaker or a guitar amp or whatever, or just headphones. I could just use a aux cable and go from the TR-08 into this and hear both of them with the output.
So in a portable world, that's really useful.
Exactly, yeah. You could put 3 of these in your backpack, 2 without a keyboard, 1 with a keyboard, and have them all MIDI synced and just have a single output. Yeah, so no need for a mixer.
Again, the same question. If you compare this to the original 101, how do you feel it sounds like?
I can't hear a difference at all. It's, again, those subtle differences between 2 different analog synths, I would, again, with this one, say that the differences are the exact same. So just a little minimal bit of difference from one to the next, from this next to a 101. But again, 2 101s are going to sound a bit different as well. So, but it maintains that character.
Yeah. In my personal view, I always want to choose a synth for what it can do, not if it can mimic another one. So.
Exactly. It's all about how it sounds. And I mean, if in a blind test and some of the extra features, like you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And the extra features on this make it extremely desirable.
So what are these extra?
So some of the extra features would be the fact that this is originally just a monophonic synthesizer. 1 oscillator, 1 note at a time. Right? You can have a couple different trigger kind of options for the envelope, but it's 1 note at a time. Now, with the ACB technology, it's powerful enough that we can actually have 4 SH-101s in here at the same time. So the different things you can do with that is change a monophonic patch to a unison, which will take 4 of the same whole synth voices and stack them up. So this is something you could do
like
on
having
the Junos.
4 SH.
Exactly.
Okay.
4 Juno, like 4 voices or 6 voices on a Juno could do this. The Jupiters could do this. MKS 80, those, and it's good, gets you this huge drifting kind of sound, right? Even without pulse width modulation, with all the mods down,
the unison
you hear that,
like that.
Yeah, the unison. And when you start to bring the filter in on that, you get these.
Just a massive sound, the 4 layers. Oh, this is nice.
Right?
Cool. Pretty cool.
That's kind of a cool sequence. Let's record that sequence really quickly before I show the next mode. So the sequencer is what was one of the easiest sequencers ever to use, and you've got the same sequencer in here with a couple extra features I'll show in a sec, but you've got sequencer memory now. This has both sequencer memory and tone memory. Okay. So you can actually save your sounds and save your sequences, and you could never do that on an original. If I just pick an empty sequence, 8/8, you can just play into the sequencer. I press load, and any notes I play, so anyone without musical training, it's really easy. I can just go. If I wanted that, those notes, even if I play another note now, or now, it's just going to play them in sequential order. Now I can press play. Right? Easy as that, and you can do up to 100 notes. Instant fun, exactly. And it's all MIDI syncable, right? So if you have it hooked up to the TR-08, which we'll show you in a sec, there you've got yourself a jam going already. You can also add rests, like because I like this, boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So I could actually load it again and go play the note and add rests. Okay. Now, simple as that.
The range of sound you can make with this simple.
It's huge. It's huge. I mean,
amazing.
it's so famous for making bass sounds, lead sounds, and plucky sounds, but really you can take it anywhere. And the next extra mode on this is really one of the most exciting, I think, based on the size, based on the sound, is that, you know, we're talking, we have 4 of these SH-01 voices in here. Instead of doing unison, we also can do poly.
Okay.
So this is huge. So this is a 4-voice polyphonic synth through and through. So not paraphonic, it actually has 4 full voices in it, so 4 filters, up to 4 notes. So what that means is you can have that classic SH-101 sound, but with a new kind of flavor to it, because you never had a polyphonic SH-101. Right?
Pretty cool.
And it can be extremely lush too, you know. Get some more pulse width going here, maybe a little bit of. And that easy sequencer is also polyphonic, so I can play in chords. I can go. Right? Too fast. Something also really cool is that I can actually change if this is 16th notes, 8th notes, or quarter notes. You could never do that. So easy to put ideas together.
And again, portable.
Yeah.
So in your backyard, building a song.
Exactly. Or on the bus with batteries, with headphones. And then you can save it. I could just go in and say, okay, well, I like that sequence. I'm just going to hold it down. Oh, now it's saved. Now it's saved. You know, so the last new voicing architecture feature is that, you know, something that was big in house and techno sounds in the early days was something called chord memory. So if I go in here, polyphonic, I can actually, with one note, I can tune up a chord. So I can say, let's add a minor third, let's add a 5th, and let's add a minor 7th. And then when I play one root note, right, we've got that. So easy sequence with that would be something like. And I've got change my resolution back. I've got that kind of jam right away. Right?
I'm missing a kick now.
There you go.
That's it.
There you go. I think we got a question.
We have a question?
Yeah, we have a question.
The battery? How long does it?
How long is the battery? Oh man, it's 4 AA batteries, and the new one. These ones I haven't really tested it out so much for at least 4, 5, 6 hours. Yeah.
If you compare to, you know the longevity of the batteries in the other ones, and the JP whatever, and the
I would assume it would be about the same.
Same?
Yeah, yeah.
It depends. You know, you mean playing full time, not stopping.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, just to clarify, the power over USB is really easy. Like right now, these are being powered just by this little micro USB cable, and it's plugged into just a phone charger. So just standard wall power to USB, and then just same thing that'll charge an Android phone or Google phone.
So a battery recharger for an iPhone would work directly for that?
It needs to be a micro USB, so anything for Android,
okay.
That kind of thing. And that's becoming so standard for like cameras, all that kind of stuff. So you can find those anywhere.
Okay, so then you get probably longer than 6 hours.
You can, well, I mean, when it's plugged in, it'll just go however long you want. Yep.
Pretty cool.
Yep.
Pretty cool. And well, in that logic, when you take out the battery, you don't erase the memory.
No, memory is all in there. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Any other thing you wanted to talk on this one? Or?
Well, there's a few under the hood features. I mean, one thing that's really big for the analog synth heads and the Eurorack guys and modular people is that the sequencer is available as a CV output and gate output.
Okay.
So that means that this really powerful sequencer that's really easy to program, you can hook it up to your Eurorack, you can hook it up to your vintage Roland, your vintage Moog, whatever you want, and it's solid and it's perfectly in tune. And what I'll say is, like 4 or 5 years ago, you could not get an analog sequencer that can do this with CV outputs for anywhere near this kind of money. Mm-hmm. And how much you get this whole synth. That's a good point. These are $499 street, Canadian. Same with the TR-08. So you'll see below the CV gate, we have external clock in. So that's just a quickly jump over to the TR-08. Same time, we have a trigger out on this, which is great. So you had a trigger output, 3 trigger outputs on the original TR-808. But you needed to use one of the instruments to trigger it. So this
usually
one
was the cowbell?
Yeah, you could do the cowbell, the clap, or the accent.
Okay.
But you don't have to use up any of these now. So
there's a dedicated trigger out.
There's a dedicated trigger out. So there's nothing programmed into the trigger now. See, so I'm going in. So if I just simply send this, I'll do a new sequence really quickly too. Just something like, that's my sequence. Okay. If I press play, it's not playing yet. Now what I can do is I can put in triggers into here. So I have there we go. So just one on the one there. So now it's moving the sequencer with every hit. So if I put 4, right? So you can kind of trigger the synth like that. All the way.
Just to be clear, actually, you're playing the steps you entered in the SH, and then it waits before playing the other notes. So that's why when we play back the 1, 2, 3, and 4, every time it came back, it was going further down the steps.
Exactly. You can see
it
just
back the same.
Moving, like if you see it moving in sequentially this direction, every time you get a trigger, it'll just move 1 step, right? So if I just, oops, there we go. Like I said, just those first 4, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to wait.
Play the rest. That's it. Okay. So you're kind of on the fly redoing the the rhythm
of the sequence, and that's another inspirational kind of thing, because you could get things that you never planned on. You know, resetting sequencers stuff is a really powerful way to be like, oh man, that groove is way better than what I thought I wanted to write.
Yeah.
You know,
nice accident, like we call them.
Totally. Yeah.
Another question, I often ask these questions that, like, it might mean nothing, but why SH-01A?
The reason it's SH-01A is because we have another product, the Gaia, which is
the
SH-01.
All right,
yes,
that's
so
right.
This is just
we actually have those. That's cool.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, killer synth.
I should have known.
Yeah, and so this is just to differentiate that from the Gaia for
pretty cool
for users and.
So that's for the SH.
Yep. So and you see it's really easy to interact over MIDI or analog clock or trigger.
That's the cool part about all these devices you have right now. The CV and gate interaction makes it, it becomes a whole.
Yeah, and that's what's happening now. The scene is going really deep into, step sequencers, analog control, all that. And here we have a nice marriage of, analog control and interconnectivity, but a really powerful digital brain.
Yeah, pretty cool. And I think you prepared something we can play the 3 at the same time.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Then after we'll switch to the DJ.
We'll see where all our sounds are at now. Let's see. So I'm just going to use this live, right? I'm just going to make whatever sound I want on the fly. There. Different pattern. So that'll work. So these are synced up, and now I can get the TR-8 in the mix as the master clock, right? So let's have a little jam with what we got going here. Because you can go and you can edit any of these sounds while this is running, right? Synced up and tweak it on the fly. And
I know we can stop the camera and just play for a couple of hours now.
Yeah,
that's
totally
pretty easy.
Yeah.
And I'm just waiting for the 909 day now.
Yeah.
Soon, very
Coming soon. Yeah.
So, well, I want to thank you for your
thank you.
time. I want to thank Roland Canada for taking the time to come here. And I hope you liked the video, you liked the live feed. If you want more of them, just write to us, Musitechnic. We're always interested in showing you new stuff. And, well, see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Musitechnic.
Bye-bye.